The Real Angler Podcast with community Kevin Brannon is brought to you by Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. Built to look good and be tough. Promar and Ahi USA. Premium fishing products and accessories with concepts developed by passionate anglers. Channel Island Sport Fishing. Offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats. And more. Mossy Oak. From hot days in the water to sweltering afternoons in the woods, we've got you covered. Outfit your obsession. The Latino Business Expo, Ventura County's largest networking event. Special thanks to Bruce at Kirby Subaru in Ventura. It's the Real Angler Show, live here on Rough Edge FM. And now, here's your host, Kevin Brannon. Okay, so this is the Real Angler Podcast with community Kevin Brannon. Barry and I welcome you to the show. Our guest today is Basilio Gonzales, and he'll explain what his position is and what he does. And Kevin, let's go.
Let's go. What's up? Well, I call him Bossy. That's the name I got from him. Was Bossy. It's easier for because even as I call my son's football games, I could tear a name up, bro. So nicknames or short versions of names are easiest for me to remember because that's just I don't know. So I started calling you Bossy, and that's the name I give you. Got you in my phone as Bossy, and but it's Basilio. Good afternoon, man. How are you?
Good. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome. Especially just kind of going in full circle.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the studio. You're at your office. So I just want to introduce you. Scotty had a question too. First off, the way that I know you, man, is we met, I believe, right through, was it the Chamber of Commerce or something? And you met with Marshall. You talked to Marshall 2 years ago about our kid fishing program. And then we talked and you had us come out to, you guys came out to the pier. We did the whole Oceans of Opportunity thing with you guys. And that was last year with one class in a summer school. And then this year you were able to get us on a few more campuses. But just kind of tell us, what your role is to our listening viewers and what ELOP, that was Scotty's question. I gave what I thought it meant, but you go ahead and introduce yourself, man, and what that stands for, please.
Absolutely. So Basilio Gonzales, I'm the current assistant principal here at Deanne's in Ventura. Traditionally during the summertime, I serve as principal, either on an elementary side or middle school side. Last year I served at EP Foster, and it was pretty awesome because we brought a lot of our littles out there. And then this year we brought a lot of the middle schools out there. So ELOP, which is a program here, it's nationwide. Also here, Ventura Unified stands for Expanded Learning Opportunities Programs, and it really is our after-school program. We emphasize safety, we emphasize just activities, recreational, extracurriculars, and then again, ensuring that students are educated so we can best serve them and their academics. But in doing so, we partner with a lot of community partnerships and like with Kevin as well, and especially just fishing as well too, and really focusing on project-based learning. We emphasize students learning in the classrooms and then integrating that learning and experiences outside of school campuses. So again, like we talked about just fishing laws for them and like going on the pier and educating them. And then we're actually going out fishing. The students got to utilize those opportunities and skills to bring it in full circle. So in hindsight, we're pretty happy to be continuing the experience and opportunities here. And I know that as with last year and this year, we do see that the program is growing. So we want to continue that. And again, just appreciating the support from Kevin and, the Real Guppy group and the anglers and just making sure that, like we had mentioned too, our biggest emphasis is safety and building community. So that's my role typically during the summertime in the school year. I'm happy to follow up and answer any other questions that you guys might have.
Well, we kind of want to talk to you about the experiences too, man, you've had so many great conversations. Like we had that 20-minute conversation on your campus about the era and education and some of the other things, acronyms that you've introduced us to, like project-based learning. Can you talk a little bit about project-based learning in there? So today, I guess we got about a half an hour, man, and we'll talk about some of the the era of education now and the hands-on learning experience that we provide what educational systems are looking for going into this new era, new model since the pandemic. And then kind of like a recap of what you and the other three principals, seen on the pier and me doing the talk and, on the campus. So we'll start again, like project-based learning and some of the new models of what schools are looking for students.
Yeah, so project-based learning has been a big emphasis, especially here at Ventura Unified for the last over 10 years. I will say post-COVID, we really tried pushing that as well to get students out, having a lot of those hands-on activities. STEM has really been a big emphasis and focus for us. But again, just knowing that learning happens inside and outside of the classroom. So specifically with project-based learning, we really focus on tying extracurriculars, activities, bringing on community sponsorships and resources to help students and families. And with project-based learning, that does carry over. So again, students will have experiences in elementary, middle school, high school. But again, a big emphasis really is not only the academic portion of it, but really the holistic view. So seeing a child and a student from, again, social, emotional, academically, middle school. We understand that peers and relationships are huge for middle school students. So again, we like to emphasize a lot of those things. And in doing so with activities such as fishing, it's a big part of their identity and who they are and their likes as far as their groups, their social groups, social norms. So that's a really big push on project-based learning. Let me see, what else can I answer for you, Kevin? As far as what we saw at the school site, so I know that, Kevin, we brought 3 groups out, which was great. And each group was really dependent on like a sixth grade group.
No, 6 groups.
Well, just at our site, right? Just at our site,
okay.
We had the 3 middle school. Yeah, so we had a 6th grade, a 7th grade, and 8th grade. I think with the elementary sites, it was like a 4th and a 5th grade combo. So again, all the students have the opportunities to integrate their learning and be hands-on as far as what they do. And then for us, what we really did see is the kids just had a blast. They had such a great time because it wasn't just the lesson that was provided in the classroom. It was also going out on this field trip during summertime and summer school. And hey, what are we going to be focusing on today? We're going to be fishing today. Or, we're going to be crab knitting. We're going to be looking at crabs. We're going to be looking at just talking to Kevin and a lot of the volunteers to do so. But again, a really big thing that we had seen was just growth mindset, where these students really just wanted to keep doing it. Or Kevin, I know that you had shared that you just had an event at the pier on Sunday, and you had seen a lot of our students there. So again, we find that, hey, summertime is over, but these kids still want to do it. And for us, that's such a big thing because, again, we are so student driven, especially at Ventura Unified, where it's not teachers, administrators making these key decisions for what students want to do and like the activities they want to take. It really is based on what the students want to do too. So again, that's another really big key term as far as being student driven. And we see it, in all grade levels, especially when after the middle school site where I was at, the elementary students got to witness that and had the experience as well too.
We're setting up a little camera here. I don't know if you can see that so that we're live on Instagram too. And that way
nice.
People could watch it while we're, hold on. We got an incoming call that blocked it out. Let me see if we can get back. Dang it. Yeah, we're trying this way of bringing this podcast to our people as well while they're here. Let me see if we go back to it. Let me see. Bear with me. Hold on, because then I got to my face ID.
Kevin, sharing with the world. So
take that out again. We'll get it fixed. Anyway, yeah, man. One of the things I've been watching these documentary films about PBS style. Okay, we're back in action. Looks like. Hold on, we're good. All right, we're good. You got it there, Scotty?
I do.
Here. Just bear with me just 1 second, Basilio.
Mm-hmm.
Bossy. No, the other way. Is that it right there?
Yeah, you want to do it that way, and then there you go.
How's that? They could see it.
That's it. That should do it.
Just a sec, man. We're sliding it down. Stay with us, viewers. All right, I think we're good there. Got Bossy here. You can see him. And we'll get that fixed by next time. But is that I was watching like how Jim Henson's Muppets and Reading Rainbow would do this R&D, right? Where they would play these videos to see how the students liked them. So when we like watching the kids read our books and them seeing me on YouTube with Real Anglers Fishing Show. I mean, the kids don't really necessarily care about nonprofit. They kind of like the fact that I'm a YouTuber. And that, with this modern day era of kids utilizing more streaming platforms or people utilizing streaming platforms, it was really cool to see that I guess we're doing research and development, product development in front of the students, man, and watching them interact and engage. It looks like we're on the right track, man. What do you guys think of, again, that learning style from, me teaching in the 45 minutes of life building skills in the classroom, not just the fishing component, but the storytelling, and then them finding out I'm a YouTube star, at least in their world, depending on how you look at viewership and stuff like that. But it looks like it's what the market, I call myself a modern day Teddy Ruxpin, right? Where you have our videos that go along with our books. And then I come on campus as a TV celebrity type of thing. And that crossover of all those. How do you think of that, man? I thought looked like we're on the same market. That's what they were doing in the 80s, to see if that would work for PBS. And I feel like that's the goal, the mission that we're going to be on soon. And that's why we say we're educator endorsed. So would you mind giving some endorsement on that, or what you thought of, seeing that for yourself, having that other, some other of your faculty coming in the middle of my presentation, what they thought of it?
Yeah, I thought the integration of technology is so critical, especially in modern day times where all students have a one-to-one device, whether it's a laptop, iPad, Chromebook. I know in middle school, even elementary, a lot of students are having, cell phones, social media. So technology just being critical in the integration, but then utilizing that technology in a way where you can build a connection with the kid. And kind of, Kevin, what you had shared, what I had seen going into the class and the presentation was that you really built on this personal connection with our students, and even shared yourself that at one time you were a student in Ventura Unified. And again, just going off of that, because what we find too, and again, looking at things from a holistic point of view, is it's not just academics. Every student has a story. And sometimes that story doesn't start at the beginning. Sometimes it's the middle, sometimes towards the end, but it's critical to build off of that component and build those connections, especially when you're talking about just things such as summer school opportunities, where and like at the middle school, it really was an option for kids to go to summer school. The kids that really wanted to be there were the ones that were there every single day. So again, that connection was a really big piece. But then from my staff and the feedback that I had gotten, it was the same too, in regards to just really relating to the kids and just sharing that there were some kids I know that last year had never even gone to the beach. And here we are teaching them about fishing and going to the pier. So just being such an experience for them, but integrating that within their educational experience and component. And I think you do a really great job just speaking on you yourself and being very genuine and personal, because the kids pick up on that, and I will tell you, I find so much from my kids because they're just so direct and upfront and honest, so like when, you bomb or you're messing up or something, a kid will tell you absolutely if you're bombing. If you're doing great, a kid will tell you you're doing great, or they'll want more of that activity. So again, just on the more personal notes, that connection is critical. But it's also integrating that connection with a lesson and, again, the technology component to really integrate and get the kids involved and engaged.
What was your favorite, anything that stood out to you, or any memory that you caught specifically from the time when you were on the pier with us? Anything from the aquarium that we do to the crab netting, the way we give them free range? Like, one of the things that stood out to me, man, on the last kid day that we did was that one of our volunteers, Danny, was showing them how to cut the fish, like to take home and process. And that's the first time on a bus ride back where students were able to actually take fish home to process. But I think there was 3 young ladies at the fish cleaning sink, gilling and gutting and scaling fish that were caught for them to take home to consume. And that we never really seen that from a school. We've seen that on our Sundays when they're there with their parents, but Miss Crawford letting them take fish home and them having their bags of fish was a standout moment for me. Is there anything that you see between on your experience coming out to the pier with us?
Yeah, and I love that too, and you shared it as well, because again, the kids could take it home. You talked about like a separate component, like, hey, how do we now cook the fish and prepare it, or clean it and whatnot. As far as our experience, I know at the middle school and again at the elementary sites as well too. What I really did enjoy too is there are different components of the fishing, especially on the pier. So you have it where it's more the individual skill and traits, and a specific student is fishing on one fishing pole. They're getting the help from a volunteer, whether that's like having bait onto it, getting untangled, what have you. But then there's also the group component, where with the crab netting, what I had seen and I really did enjoy too is, it really takes more than 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4, 5 students to pull up that crab net. So collectively, right, they were working together to do that. But at the same time, they had the opportunity to be individuals and to fish and to get the help. So there was the independence, but there was the just collective portion of it too, where they can work as a group. So I really enjoyed that, especially because I know that, Kevin, like you did a great job during the lessons, selecting and picking a couple students as volunteers and helpers. And it's really empowering for them to be like, yes, like I'm a helper. I'm looking forward to this. I've got my watch every 30 minutes. I'm pulling up that crab net, or I'm reminding Kevin of the volunteers. And guess what? I'm going to bring a couple other kids with me too to do that. So that's something I really enjoyed. And yeah, I would suggest, but it sounds like you've already been doing a great job. Just keep doing that.
Well, I know another standout moment was watching kids help other kids, man. I wrote that down when we were talking. You know, we didn't really write down questions during our interview. We just kind of vibe off of the conversation, but I'll take little side notes just to bring up when I talk again. And one of them was like hearing kids say, "I'll help you. I'll show you." Like, you know what I mean? When they were watching us cut bait, and then I stepped away from the bait cutting sink and they were baiting other kids' hooks. And then that confidence of watching another kid do it, I believe, is what helps other kids want to do it next, right? An adult doing everything for you, but we kind of set the standard at the beginning, say, hey, look, we're here to teach you guys. We're not going to do everything for you. If you think the bait is nasty and squirmy, then this might not be your event, but we're here to show you, and so you can do it if it does get busy. And you know, we had current and rods getting wrapped around the pylon, so I'm tying hooks and cutting bait, you know, and there's these components of fishing that come in. So if a kid can bait their own hook instead of waiting for somebody to do it because I'm tying hooks on retying a break off, then they could do it, like you say, empowering them. But then to see them take over a station and start helping was cool. I remember the one little girl with the little Afro puffs, man, her helping. She had like 4 kids that she had on the other side of the pier that she helped cast each one of them into the water. So she was leading a little group of 4 kids on her own. And another student baiting hooks, and I'll do that for you, like just stepping into leader roles, man, like authentic, where you heard them just stepping. I'm like, I'll help you, like, in the enjoyment of that, giving me goosebumps right now talking about it, man. So yeah, the things you're talking about and seeing them take over and ownership, and that's kind of our mission statement, is to really empower them. We don't just use that term, like we make sure that we implement it, right? Using that slogans on the side of a campaign or something, you know, is one thing, but like letting them know ahead of when they arrive, and then that way they're walking into those and seeing them take over. And then that's, again, empowers another kid to say, it's not that frightening, it's not that scary, I'll do it myself. So yeah, man. And then, like, I think Miss Crawford ended up bringing 30 something students or 27 students on her final trip, because some of them were repeat fishermen. So we had them that came on Tuesday and then show up again on Thursday because they were so excited to come back. And then again, watching them be more helpers of the new students, man. It was like full circle, man, like cycling through. And that was exciting to see and to hear. And even our volunteers, man, when they know that they've taught students and kids, and we could step back, we call it the Guppy Lounge. We'll spend that last kind of half hour with, you know, put the reggae music on and put out our chairs, and we're just watching them lead at that point, right? So the first hour or two of teaching and instructing, and then that last little bit of time, watching them do it all. We call it the Guppy Lounge. You put me in, but the point of that is watching our volunteers, and we have a little talk at the end and be like, you see those kids doing this and how they learn, and that they get just much of excitement of watching them learn and start to take triples.
Yeah, and I'm telling you that energy is contagious, you know, because whether it's from a volunteer or a staff, a teacher, a principal, a student, it is, you know, and like you mentioned too, those kids that wanted to keep going back and doing it, you know, and that's truly is project-based learning, you know, because again, they are learning in the classrooms, outside of the classrooms, they're integrating that in real world situations. And like you said too, you know, you have these kids who are the ones being those leaders, right? Facilitating and helping out. So that's awesome because, you know, we talk about leadership as well too, and there's so many components built into just the program as well too that would benefit from that. But yeah, completely agree with that. It's contagious.
Yeah, we had some kids that we gave out the information to that said, hey, man, you'd be a great Guppy Ranger. We have this nonprofit side that you could come in and be a part of on our, you know, certain Saturdays a month if you want to do it. So I believe that, again, and then to see how many kids showed up this last Saturday or this last Sunday from your school too, to come out from another city out with their families, was again to show that they were really digging it, you know, and they could come up, grab their rods, start fishing. They didn't have to go through the instruction part again. They were on it. They were little anglers. And again, like you say, keeping tabs of, you know, 20 minutes on the crab net, and okay, it's, you know, time to pull it up, and being alert and working on that. There was just some really neat components. And to see him, it's almost like we use this term the way we drew it up in practice, you know, when the play developed for a touchdown, and you're like, just like we drew it up in practice, you know, when you see the excitement, and then them coming back, and then we'll see how many of them want to become more Guppy Rangers at our learning center here and doing more stuff on the water. Yeah, man, it's neat. So do you think one of the things that we asked you to do, and the other principal, was to put together a report or art class? I know that your schools offer these other different weekly projects, right? It's like an art group. Is there anything coming down the pipeline that we could see as far as kids making reports or drawings or painting that we could hang up here in our learning center? Any ideas?
Yeah, so we have students, and I'd love to show you one day too, that go down to Idea Center. And our Idea Center, which is down on here on the Avenue, Ventura Avenue, is really run by students, former students here at Data in Ventura. It's run by a former teacher here. His name is Alex Wolf. And again, a big component of that is same thing, project-based learning. But a lot of those students that we also took on the field trip went to that program, the Idea Center. So I know they were talking about it. Some of them were even talking about making their own, components for fishing, different things as well. So I'm excited about it because I will be by later this week. I want to make sure I can keep talking to kids, and then following up to see what we can keep doing to integrate that. And then in regards to just the reports, like I said, we're getting our survey results from parents. I want to say sometime this week, next week. But I can tell you just by having conversations with parents and families, everyone had such a positive remarks, in regards to the program and the structure and the kids, the kids being so bummed out, that there's no summer school this week, because they wanted to do a lot of these field trips and activities. But that's great because it's just like they want to continue learning and focusing on those things. So I'm happy because, like I said, it's still growing and it's something that we want to continue this year, even before the summertime. And there's definitely a lot of opportunities.
Oceans of opportunity, man. That's what we call it, right? There's just oceans of opportunity out here. And like I was telling you guys too, man, I really feel like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing too. When you have one as far as watching the kids do it, but a purposefulness that I put in our mission statement and talk to kids about, I get to live out every day. It's an authenticness to say, like, these are we show up in practice. It takes time to get to the resources. It takes time for you to get clearance from a school, to learn how to do MOUs, to put together these things and talk the language and be able to articulate this to the educational system, where we're trying to get our like I was talking about, getting our workbooks circulated across America in these different books to be curriculum. So these are the steps that it takes, and to stay with it, and then watching it play out, and then you get to the event, man. So, but to be on, and I'll tell you one thing, I gave you guys credit, man. I was doing a couple of lectures in one day, kind of wore me out, man. Let me tell you what, you teachers, man, new love and respect on what it's like to stand up in front of a class for back-to-back lectures and students. Now, I try to do an engagement part with them where I let them talk and do stories, but there was one class in particular. It took us 30 minutes to get through to the second page of the book because they had so many cool stories and questions and wanted to look at our artifacts. We even named one of the shark at your campus. We came up with the name Sir Chomps-a-Lot for one of our little
name. Nice.
Yeah, we kept the name for one of our stuffed animals that we use when we talk about ecosystem and habitat. Our little sharks are Sir Chomps-a-Lot. But there was students where again, when on your campus where it's junior high school kids that are a little bit more focused, then some of them are first and second graders, and then the third and fourth that I had, and how to have to change my energy to match a group of littles versus junior high kids, and the difference between the endurance that it takes, man, to get up there and lecture and talk and but try to stay on track of the material that we got to do, right? So it's kind of neat because sometimes we'll go off talking about sea turtles or something, have nothing to do with what we're talking about primarily from our area. But as long as they're engaging and I'm not boring them and putting them to sleep, I feel like that's kind of my way of teaching, man. What do you think of that? Like, how do you feel in front of them? Does you get a little worn out sometimes too? I know I did.
Yeah, I would say, gosh, I credit my teachers just so much, because what they do every day and the impact they have on our kids, and ultimately it's supporting them as well too. But no, it is, and every day, you just keep working, you keep trying to reach kids. And I think for me too, what I see is it really is a lot of why we do what we do in the field of education, and especially even like you and what you do, with students and just with the program. Because again, too, you want to educate our students, but you want to do that in the best way that you can, So again, we talk about for teachers like self-care, making sure you're prepared, and then leaning on other people too. I will tell you, I could not do my job at all, if I didn't have the support from my office staff personnel, my paraeducators, my teachers, absolutely not. But the big point of it is we are all collectively working together to help and impact our community and our students. So yeah, I completely agree with you. And I will tell you, I can't credit teachers enough, not even just Teacher Appreciation Week. It's throughout the year. Really should be, because it is. It's a lot, especially what kids mentally bring with them here to school, you know,
Yes.
and a lot of times schools their consistency, and it's their safe place, and they have trusted adults. And again, so many of our teachers and staff just do a great job, and we want to continue feeding them.
Yeah, there was one student that I had to ask to stop about 6 times, and have him sit up with me. And then when I had him sit up there with me, I could see the look on his little shoulders, like he was in the front. But I was that same kid that would act up in class, right? So I know I put myself in his shoes too. I let him go back to his seat, and we had a little conversation because I didn't want to just kind of embarrass him in front of his fellow classmates. So I had to
Right.
go through this thing of like a different it's something that stood out, because I've been that student. I am that student, right? And that's what I tell the
Mhm.
kids, like, that's why these occupations, some of us can't work in an office in a city. We can't sit still that long. I get it. So to have an encounter with that and then ask the teacher, how did I handle it properly? Because all I want to tell them is just don't be disruptive, right? The person next to you is
Mhm.
trying to listen while you're talking to the other kid, and it can be disruptive during the questioning. And then we, after about the fifth time, I said, hey, I need you to come sit up here with me, and then I'm gonna go back. But I'd rather go through this like self-inventory on how do I channel that energy, knowing that I was the same child that had to be talked to over and over again in class, and then dealing with it now at this level, and knowing that if I'm going to be going into classrooms more often, that this is some of the stuff I'm going to encounter, and how do I handle that positively? You know what I'm saying? But
Yep.
also, again, putting myself in that seat because, I had to stay. I missed plenty of recesses because of my behavior in class, right? So I have like the empathetic side to see it and be. That's what I mean by like I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be, because when I encounter that situation, I had a similar situation with a kid at Sunkist, man, and I was walking by, right, and this kid was. It was a trip because he's seen how many questions were on this test, and just the
Mhm.
number of questions already had him shook. Why is there gotta be so many questions? And he was holding onto his desk, and they were calling. So when I walked by, the teacher's like, Mr. Kevin, can you come in here with him? And we walked through this little test together. But I remember that feeling of how overwhelming just the number on the test can freak you out before you even get to the test. And I'm like that now. Like somebody sends me a 35-page contract to read, I'm like, oh my God, I'll read a page or two. I'm gonna get through this. So to be able to like go through that journey with the student and know that that's where the environment I'm gonna be working in, and how do I my tolerance level and energy level, and seeing it again, a respect for what teachers go through, and kind of getting myself ready to get into this industry. And it's kind of a really good learning curve, learning opportunity. Like I said, the more I teach and the more I learn. This was one of those, a couple of those here. Little delay. We're partnered with the port that comes out to where the ships on the last day. They so all students and need to go with keys and pencils and hats. What else was in there? Chapsticks, little banana chapsticks. So the last group of kids came away with quite a bit of swag, courtesy of the port. So there was an extra bonus that those students got, but to really showcase
Right.
again how partnerships do cross over. A partner that we have seen my truck parked there, knew all the kids on the pier. We must be up there, and came in and showered the students and your staff with a bunch of little gifts from the port, man. So that was kind
That's
of
awesome.
another extra bonus for the students, man. But showing community engagement and partnerships, how they cross over too, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, you're breaking out there a little bit.
Yeah, it's starting to do the little buffering. So let's talk about this. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now, loud and clear? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right. So you got some good news when we were on the pier, right? Or we were in the class. What happened? You got some good news. What do you got going on this next semester? You're in your future seasons. What do you got going on? What was the good news?
Oh, for myself personally, yeah. So
Yes, sir.
prior to this, in my profession, I've been a school counselor for 7, 8 years, and then I recently got hired on as an assistant principal. So that was a big highlight for me. I got that news on the pier with the kids, with
Yeah.
you. We were talking about it, and yeah, just for me, it was like this is awesome. Like what better way to celebrate than with the kids and with everyone on this awesome field trip that we're going for. So yeah, for me, that was such a big highlight, carrying that with me as well too. And just my why as well, doing what we do every single day. And same thing like with you, seeing why the kids do that and why you do what you do every day, especially for our community. So yeah, big
Yeah,
highlight for me, and I'm still on cloud nine.
yeah, that's cool because we got things we talk about the kids, and something that goes on too, man, is we always got to celebrate everybody else's success with them, right? So when you got it, I think we even prayed on your campus, right? The day before, right? Like when you were in the interview, because I think you got called away because they wanted to ask you a couple of questions, or might have been on the pier or something. And we prayed right there for you, because you like, wasn't right. A couple of questions, and then we prayed, and then you ended up getting, answered prayer is always good, wherever faith is at. The point of it is that you shared what you were going through, and then you got it, and we were just able to celebrate alongside you, man. I think that's something that we should all do for people that we work with or we don't work with, is to always celebrate other people's success too, man, because I think that's huge. And seeing you, work with us last year, and then seeing you go up, and then, that's how we build these things too, because the further you get up the educational ladder, knowing that you have resources like us, that we could continue to cross-pollinate our communities, man. And again, be happy for other people's success, man, and cheer them on. And it was great to let me be a part of your success, man. And congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I appreciate that, because again, that's such a great lesson, is acknowledging, right, other successes, being there with them. And again, too, I felt like it wasn't just me, it was the people around me at the same time. So no, definitely taking that to heart. That's a bumper sticker for Community Kev. Bring others up with you.
That's it, man. What is it? High tides float all ships, man. Right?
Yep.
And that's what we got to do, man, is to make sure that we're floating each other's ships, and to showcase, because that's just, there's an abundance out here for us all, man, not a scarcity level. And I know that some of us, where we grow up in our economic breakdowns, that middle class mindset of scarcity, man, plagues us all. So when we can teach that there's an abundance, and if you put in the effort and crossing the finish line and continuing to grow, is something that maybe our cultures don't hear enough of, right? We have admirable work, and go to work and put food on the table, and that, put your head down and grind is one option, which is good, but also that you're putting that down to set goals for yourself, and that there is a level of greatness out there that we can achieve. We don't have to settle. I think there's some of that that's wrapped into why I get so fired up about that, is that, I mean, don't get jealous, don't have envy. So everybody can set their individual goals and really go after them and achieve them. And then you get to celebrate those with your circle. And then hopefully use that to inspire somebody else that wants to get onto a journey that might be a little nervous or fearful, that, go out and experiment and try and shoot for big goals, man. Don't just settle and take a corner office job or something like that, achieve it, and then be excited for other people that are getting it. Even if it's not your season at that time, you say, you know what that feeling is going to look like, so that when you do achieve it, you know how to accept it, and then encourage somebody else or inspire somebody else,
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, because again, that's a great point, and it extends beyond just in education, right? It's like a life lesson for that too.
Yep. And I think the more life lessons, again, there's academic lessons, right? And there's life lessons. And that's what we teach a lot about fishing, asking for help. I got a chance to tell those junior high kids, because that's where they get to that, what's called the cool kid syndrome, right? Where you're not going to tell people that you struggle in these areas, that everything at home is just fine, because you don't want people to make fun of you or start to judge you. Those are those years of adolescence that you start to become who you are and who you're going to hide from, in the fear of, again, those things. So if you stop asking for help and being authentic and genuine and asking at that age, it could take you to, and I tell the kids, you'll see these people on Facebook in their 40s finally announcing that they don't care what people think about them, and I'm in who I am. So if we could show them that at an early age, those are life building lessons, man. Like you said, that you could take into giving them confidence, making sure they are individuals, that they're happy if you rather be a geek or a nerd than get involved with what's outside your front door, because it's easier to go that way, that this is the impressionable time to tell them that stuff, man,
Yeah. And again, too, it's part of their story, especially middle school, part of their identity. And it's really just who they carry over in high school. It's a totally different world in middle school. But yeah, all those same values are resonated with those students.
So let's continue to just keep being the light, brother. Again, I know your style, the way we talk, man, we always seem to build it when we were out on the, in person, or, before or after I teach at your school. We always spend 15, 20 minutes, man, talking it up on the same thing. And that's what I like, because like I said, I think education after the pandemic, with whether it be technology or hands-on learning, seeing new things, some schools are bringing back trades again. It's not just academics to get there, that schools in this new era, and you leading the pack in this as you're growing up in leadership roles, are open to that idea, man. I think it's great.
Yeah, same. And want to continue those opportunities and ideas too.
That's what's up. All right, man, we're at our 35-minute mark. We try to keep it around that point, man, just so that way people say, oh, an hour, they want to click on it, right? We kind of keep it there to make sure they want to click on our podcast, man. We'll shoot you this over. again, keep me busy and working up in Ventura School District, man. I'd love to continue to partner with you guys in different ways of oceans of opportunity, man. And I'm sure you will. And thanks for jumping on here and telling us about your experience, man. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever reports and artwork we can get back from your students going into the fall of 2024, man.
Yeah, and thank you too as well. Just your partnership and work the last few years, and just really resonating and just talking to our kids and seeing them for who they are. Because like you said, if the kid's got a lot of energy or they're disruptive, behavior issues, you're not necessarily labeling that kid, but you're like, you know what, kid's got a story, and I got to make sure that I can create them into a helper and focus on that. So I appreciate you, everything you do. It's a partnership. We want to continue that going. I can't say enough nice things about you, but I'm going to continue to do so. And that's the big thing, man. But yeah, keep going. Yeah, but I appreciate it. And yeah, you got my contact, anything you need. But for all the viewers and whatnot, I appreciate you all joining today and letting me speak a little bit on my passions and what we do and why we are who we are.
And thanks for giving me all the kudos, man. But I gotta, without saying like you just said about your staff too, man, that my hat's off, like Uncle Dave, Marshall, No Fish, Vic, HB, Danny, David. We actually had a chance too, man, to get some high school students to come out that I paid a couple bucks to come in there. So we had some intern high school students make some funds. Everybody that came out to help, we've had I have a tremendous team of individuals that get a great gratification. It's like the disciples, man, who God chooses to use, and the group of people that we have and what they take away from being able to see this stuff grow. They're fulfilling their hearts too by being out there being just servants, man. So again, shout out to my team and thank them. And we always have just enough helpers, man. Like, because I'll commit to us doing these things before I let the team know that I've committed. And we always seem to have plenty of coverage, and everybody has a great time, man. So I just want to make sure my team knows that I love them, and I couldn't do it without them as well, So thank you for acknowledging me and my team that comes out and helps out and gives countless unselfish hours, man. I've worked for companies, man, where they have slogans. Hey, there's Danny right there. Slogans and and models and mission statements that they say, and then they'll modify in between to whatever fits their narrative at that time, right? And bottom line, that we want to have here with the team we have and the love that we have, I believe that's something that companies, that's how you be sustainable long term, and we're just have a great culture and something that we really practice. And again, I think you could see that when you come out with us, man, that it's just a culture that we have with our team, and I'm super happy and glad for everybody that we do have, man, who assembled in our team. So just want to give them a shout out if they're listening too, man. I really appreciate them because it was a hectic July and we got through it, man. So that's what we do.
Yeah, well, last day. Tomorrow's August.
All right, man. That's it. Yeah, and then it's just back to. I know Marshall opened up. He's like, man, look at the calendar. It's the first time, but we need to work on some standard operating procedures. We need to, get some data put away. We got some interns I need to work with. I got some films I need to edit. So, July whipped us, and then you're going to see these new educational videos I'll share with you coming up in August as well. Okay. So again, thank you. I'll let you go. Again, passing up the clock. You got work to do. Thank you so much, man, and looking forward to a bright future with you. And congratulations again on your new position.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Well, appreciate it, guys. I'm going to log off.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
All right, man.
Let's go.
The Real Angler Podcast with community Kevin Brennan is brought to you by Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. Built to look good and be tough. Promar and Ahi USA. Premium fishing products and accessories with concepts developed by passionate anglers. Channel Islands Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats. And more. Mossy Oak. From hot days in the water to sweltering afternoons in the woods, we've got you covered. Outfit your obsession. The Latino Business Expo, Ventura County's largest networking event. Special thanks to Bruce at Kirby Subaru in Ventura. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.